Back to allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which sustains one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Standing. Public Meetings Act statement.
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was forwarded to the official township newspapers, posted on the bulletin board at township website. This meeting is being entertained all the up to not.
Roll call.
Mr. Fiorella?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Marks?
Here. Here. Make a motion to open the first public portion for resolutions and ordinances below. I'll make a motion. Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Good evening. John Stipik, 2075 Main Road. I came tonight to urge you guys to approve the Piney Hollow Trail Grant. I don't really understand why this application would be approved for 7 years. It's gone through this body many, many times, and you've approved it all along the way. We've spent tens of thousands of dollars, maybe more, just through the approval process already, through concept plans, permits, approvals, administration fees. I know Mr. Finley has spent many, many hours helping this application move along, which is greatly appreciated. But I just can't really understand. You knew the price all along. In fact, the price is lower now than it was in the beginning. And I can't really comprehend why we would spend so much money on an application or a plan just to deny it in the 11th hour. I mean, now the public is finally going to get what they paid for. We put our down payment on, and I don't understand why you would deny it. So I urge you guys to approve this application. A lot of work has been gone into it, and it'll really benefit the community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Margaret Darr, Forest Grove. I wanted to second what John said. I can't imagine ever turning down what we have right here in our hands, right here. It's about to be ours, and not pass it. It's a complete waste of money. It makes no sense. I urge you, please, to pass this park into big. Thank you.
Jim.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Before you vote, keep in mind what John said. The project racked up 7.5 years of unpaid engineering fees. By continuing the Green Acres grants, those fees are capped at 11% of the project cost, and Green Acres will pay for half of them. Without the Green Acres grant, the engineering fees can be charged in full with no cap, and the township will be paying all of it. The engineering was extensive, including hundreds of hours, which include engineering for the grant application, the permits from DEP for wetlands, 2 separate permitting submissions to the Pinelands Commission to change the trail design from boardwalk to bypass, engineering of 2 separate plans for this change, an environmental site assessment, which is a phase 1 environmental site assessment, numerous meetings on the site, at Town Hall, and at the Pinelands Commission headquarters, years of emails, plan revisions, phone calls with the township, the DEP, Pinelands, Green Acres, presentations at public meetings, bid packets prepared for 2 different plans, Rossi paperwork, and more. Those are what has been ordered for this and done, and we will become responsible to pay that in full for likely a lot more than the grant. Under the grant, you would only pay a maximum of $22,000 for what is likely $100,000 or more of engineering dollars. If you added up all those services and contacted any engineer, this would cost well over what they're asking you to provide just to finish this grant. The engineering bill, like I said, could easily exceed the cost of finishing this grant. So you decide what you want: a nice, accessible park for all ages at a bargain price, or do you want to pay a huge engineering bill and have nothing to show for it? Your choice is clear, an accomplishment you can tout as your own, or you can choose a huge engineering bill to pay for work you will not be using. I urge you that economically, it is not a better choice to walk away from this grant because of this huge bill and this commitment that, as John said, everyone who's been here, Mr. Bruno, Mr. Doyle, approved changes to the plans, and everything was done twice because of those changes, increasing our engineering liability and our debt to CME regarding this project. So it would be foolhardy not to finish this project. And the reality is, at Malaga Park, the nature trail is heavily used. This would be a bigger, nicer, longer nature trail in an environment that is unique. And we are lucky to have this park because you can see otters and beavers and eagles and all kinds of wildlife. And when you get in the middle of this park, it's the only place you can go in Gloucester County that you don't hear cars. It is quiet, it is pristine, it is beautiful. And if you haven't been there, wait until the weather is better, because with the broken trail system, you'll be full of ticks. Unless we fix it, there's no way to walk there during the warm months without risking Lyme disease or other tick-borne illnesses. This park has also been dumped on for many years, and I hate to say it, but this doesn't represent our values as a community to leave the park in the condition that it's in now. So we are asking you to please take care of it. Otherwise, it'll only be usable for people like myself, who have a four-wheel drive truck and who can drive to the back entrance, let my dogs out, and enjoy a nice walk for several hours, which you can't get anywhere else in Gloucester County. No place is this big. No place is this nice. And it would be a shame to ignore it. It's our largest park, and it is a wonderful place. And like I said, trails are used more than you know, and trails are used by people of all ages. And we need that kind of recreation for people of all ages. So I ask you to consider it. Obviously, the choice is yours. Good luck.
I have to speak.
Good evening. Charles McCann, Annie McCann, 56 Stephanie Drive, Franklville. About the same ordinance about Piney Hollow Trail, I was watching in minutes from last meeting, and Mr. Marsh, you tabled it, and a conversation that you were having still, and you needed to finish the conversation. So what came about that, and anything that we need to know about that, about this?
I tabled it because until it started 7 years ago. I don't believe anyone was on the committee. So I called some people that were on the committee back then 7 years ago, and they said, in fact, guessing before that project, it was to gave in clear some trails, and there was just a minor renovation. It was not to this scale 7 years ago. And then I thought it was a fully funded grant by the state of New Jersey. I didn't think we had to put a dime in. So far, like you said, we spent $48,000 in engineering things. And when he done $167,000 more to complete the project, just about $165,000 taxpayer dollars to the trail that tidally utilized by overutilized. Like now, Blake Park would be, I'd rather put that money to the park. Baseball fields aren't shambles. So the Sesame not think we could use that money at the baseball park?
I know they look the same since I played there.
Right. They're saying a little bit over you machine chain probably. So
Yeah, probably. Your beard's a little
that
dead.
fields when I was there, same fence. It's that we could use the money elsewhere. It's called, if you have the money, if you don't have the money, don't spend it. If you have the money, spend it wisely. And that'll release $215,000 into a trail that will not be utilized by Franklin Township residents. Would be smart spend by this committee. They'll be irresponsible. They grew the road, yes, tell it.
I do know there is a nice trail for people to walk on at Skyland Run Park, because our son actually is an Eagle Scout, and he donated all the signs and everything. It's signed, it's labeled, it's got a big map out front. So people want to walk There's a perfectly good park that right there full of trails.
There's about
Miles and trails.
10 signs, and you cannot hear the road from it either because we were back there installing it and everything else.
But I know Malaga Lake Park is, kids that go play on Malaga Lake Park, they can't run around. They can't play. There's so much goose crap everywhere. So, but that's what I wanted to know.
And there's also a playground there. It's Scotland Run Park across where all the trails are for the kids to play and picnic tables and things like that as well. So it helped with everybody, the trail walking and for the kids as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ralph Travelloni, Marshall Mill Road, Malaga.
Good job, guys.
In reference to 132-24, the Piney Hollow ordinance, many people are going to be surprised what I'm about to say. Most people think because I'm a farm owner, I'm an environmentalist, and outdoorist, which I am. But my idea...
Been there because I don't think the trails are safe. Like, I'm excited for this to be a place that I can go, maybe bring my niece and feel comfortable with her walking through there, you know. But to just dismiss it because, you know, you can't pull up, there's no boat ramp. You know, that's what people are doing in Malaga Lake Park. That's the cars. You know, maybe you have a couple joggers. Obviously, we want the playground to work, but that's a separate fund. This is a special place. My understanding about it is that it's somebody's property that they've kind of opened up to the public. Isn't that what? Am I wrong?
It does.
That's not right. Wrong, different place. Anyway, but to have.
It's our turn.
Oh, okay. So it was donated.
Someone else to doctors.
Right. Okay. I just, your values might be different than mine. And mine are about nature and what I breathe and what I see. I get excited about the smallest little insect. I'm like, ooh, what is that? And I can't wait to go to Piney Hollow so I can find all these little things that you don't care about. But that's not fair. If it's something that has been in the works for 7 years and approved and bidded on and spent money on, I want you to follow through. For me, my niece, somebody else's kids, other people around the tri-state area, for the economic benefits in the township, people are going to go, yes, you have to drive. But there's gas stations. People are going to spend their money in our town. Then they get hungry. They're either going to spend money at Wawa while they're there, or they're done and they're going to go get an ice cream cone, or they're going to go to the diner, or they need to stop and get some suntan lotion, sunscreen, or bug spray. There's money that can come in. You're worried about putting it out, but in the scheme of things, I think you're going to get it back. This place, you go to like the birding websites and stuff, this is listed. This is a place that people want to go. Let me go. Please, I am begging you, because I'm really, I don't, you know, people are excited about this township. I'm fairly new here. And the way I kind of describe it is it's an intersection. I want to be able to describe it as a beautiful place for nature and discovery. So please, maybe you won't ever go there. But for the ones that do, and the money that can come into the town, please follow through. So much has already been spent in it. You do the math, you know, it's not that much in the scheme of things and the distant future. I think we will all be very proud of you if you do this. You can say, we voted for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. Good evening.
You called you.
I really can't say it much better than what they did. The only thing I want to bring up, and I don't know the monetary value of it, but she reminded me of something. Have you ever been into Estelle Manor Park? It's a beautiful park. Got boardwalks in different areas, things along those lines. But have you ever seen the volume of people it brings? It is astounding, the amount of people that brings from other states and from within our state. We've gone there a couple of times. It's fantastic. It goes through different swamps, water areas, woodlands, and it's got any area that's wet, it's got boardwalks to walk on. And because of that, it draws in a huge volume of people from all over that are into the nature side. Just something to think about. It could very well bring revenue in the town. The other item I want to talk about tonight is the Resolution 12624. I haven't heard anything back from the different pictures and all I sent about the flooding in our area since the bank paved their parking lot. But I urge you not to release the bond on that till that investigation or whatever you're doing is done, till we get this issue resolved and the 16 homes around us aren't having this problem any longer. Thank you.
Begin motion to close for public portion. Motion to close. Second. All in favor? Aye. A motion to approve correspondence and reports. Motion to approve correspondence and reports. Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the minutes from July 9th, 2024. Motion to approve the minutes. Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion to approve the bill list. Motion to approve the bill list. Second. Laura?
Mr. Fiorella? Yes. Mr. Keen?
Yeah.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Breen?
Yes. Motion to approve farm state permit. Bauer? Barak? Isaac? Motion to approve farm state permit. Second. All in favor? Aye. Resolution 12124, authorizing refunding developers escrow account. Motion R12122. Second.
Mr. Fiorella? Yes. Mr. Keen?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Yes. Resolution 12224, authorizing fireworks displayed like pyrotechnics at Franklin Township Reading Day. Motion R12220. Second.
Mr. Fiorella? Yes. Mr. Keen?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Yes. Matt, these are people not in like this, man. These are people that we've already paid for the service drive. For the community day? Yeah, because it was carried last year, right? Correct. We had to do another contract and stuff. Another contract plan showed really better. But most of the stuff from community day rolled over to this year due to the rain out. Right here. Resolution 12324, awarding contract to Prep 6 to 2022 Ford Police Interceptors, all-wheel drive vehicles from Nelson Ford through ESCNJ Co-op. That's much. Motion R12220. Second.
Mr. Fiorella? Yes. Mr. Keen?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Yes. And these are replacing two older ones, or these are part of the plan for when the enterprise leases come up. We'll actually own these, where we'll own the leases once enterprise.
Sure.
Resolution 12424, authorizing the administrator to the council Friday to apply and accept funds from the New Jersey Division of Community Affairs under the Legislative Mediation Act and a big grant fund next. Motion R12424. Second.
Mr. Fiorella? Yes. Mr. Keen?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Yes. Motion for Resolution 12524, acknowledging and directing council administrator to complete and submit an application for consideration of a SDS RF hazard discharge site remediation grant with 168 or not 1690 motion for R12520. Second.
Mr. Fiorella? Yes. Mr. Keen?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Yes. Resolution 12624, releasing a performance bond and safety and stabilization bond from Provincial Bank Block 4733.8. Motion R12620. Second.
Mr. Fiorella? Yes. Mr. Keen?
Yes.
Mr. Marsh?
Yes.
Mayor Brennan?
Man. This comments for that's more. This is the marshal's comments. The engineers saying they released this bond. The engineer told us to release the bond. The retention pond that Mr. Marshall was talking about during the rain is next to the actual horizon. Some bike split is there, road opposite side of the road. No, that is not it.
I'm talking about the stream right next to it, but it was close to woods now. It's killing every tree in our thing. And it was killed. I mean, I've sent you the videos. You told me the fact, you have not.
I forwarded it to the engineers. They're the ones that handle that. I'm not
Nothing. No, he's told me a thing.
but I'm not a water expert. They are. So everything was sent to them, and they're the ones that recommend releasing the bonds. I don't. I have to.
This is CME.
Yes.
Some fun for you. I really got 10. Resolution 147.4 is designated a 610 appointment of Desiree Ogden as already registered concerning 7.0. Motion for R127.24. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Resolution 128.24 authorizing consort to create tax attention to co-existing ventures. Motion R128.24. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Resolution 129.24 authorizing tax collector to bring tax concessions for co-disabled class. Motion R129.24. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Resolution 130.24 authorizing the soliciting of bids proposals with Friday Township Community Center and Library HVAC updating with Crayston. Motion R130.24. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Resolution 131.24 requesting approval the LGS for the creation of a trust by Ryder, train removal or replacement. Question to R131.22. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yeah.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Be a motion for resolution 132.24 or a contract to SBW Construction Inc. that tries to services connection with the Pine Isle Preservation Trail Improvements project of the Township of Frank. Be the motion. The motion as this fails. Resolution 133.24 authorizing dispatch of citation added to the injured block and purchase history line to collaborative pricing agreement. Motion R133.20. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yeah.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Resolution 134.20 will reporting Robin Sarlo as Chief Financial Officer at Bob White SGA. Motion R134.22. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Resolution 135.4 authorizing the mayor to sign the shared service agreement in the Township of Franklin and Council of Monterey to provide a useful possibility for the township to claim. Motion R135.22. Second.
Mr. Fiorella,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Marsh,
Yes.
Mayor Brennan.
Yes. Now that when play years and particularly allowing their kids to go there and which field were they using? That's the other one I got tells tonight. It's a situation where Monroe has ordinance versus not allow P1 Monroe Township residents. So their business administrator and recreation commission reached out to us because we don't have one, as there's a limited quantity of Franklin Township children can want to play. So this is the way we can enter into this. Similar with field hockey, Elk Township has taken over the field hockey, but they don't have anything against it, so the Franklin Township kids can play and help, and they've made a joint league. This is what Monroe is going to do, but because of their ordinance, they need to have a shared service agreement. Well, sounded parts their part. We give them let's the recreation spoke with the former people and they turned them over to Elks and outpatient. Now there is their rest. Yes. Yes. So someone part about buying those nets. The other one that's the city first. Okay. There was a whole situation with that, but then Al requested to use them with this combined lake. So the Recreation Commission and myself turned them over to them, and then when they're done with them, they'll turn them back. The motion to introduce the volume ordinance public hearing will be on September 10th, 2024. First ordinance is ordinance 1024, amending Township Code 337, Section 2, Section 18, regulated right-of-way and street openings, road opening, moratorium. Motion. There is a second. Second. All in favor?
Next one, ordinance 1124, amending Township Code, Chapter 179, lead-based paint. Motion other than 20. Second. All those in favor? Aye. And the third is ordinance 1224, setting parameters for open space and farmland preservation trust fund, pursuant to NJSA 4012-5.72. Motion 12.24. Second. Yes, for a second. All in favor? Aye. We get a public hearing, it'll be on September 10th, 2024. Can I get a motion over the second public portion? Motion to open the second public portion. Second. All those in favor? Aye.
John Stipik, 2075 Main Road. Mr. Marsh, just to make a few corrections, there have been improvements at the baseball fields. There has been new fencing, and I believe they're putting new fencing up. And I would agree that's a great expenditure of taxpayer money, which there are a lot of great expenditures of taxpayer money. Mr. Marsh, you know all about that. You collect multiple incomes based on taxpayer money, and I think that's money very well spent. I hope you collect it for a very long time. While a police pension and your income from Township Committee. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Technically. Now, like I said, I think it's tax money very well spent. The best tax money spent is to our police officers and our school teachers and our military. I also believe taxpayer money spent for open space is well worth it also. Now, I have a question about what is the impetus for this open space, allocating funds for open space and farmland preservation and basically setting parameters for it. Like, you guys already have the power to deny any money spent from that space. So
then we have the power to deny open wage, like the power to say so that money could go to parks. It's way down. And it draws to our attention, right, Ralph? And that's that the thing, I believe part of it brought to our attention as well that we're not to using that money. I think that's all good. And so when we're preservation away, the word it's just not enough.
Okay. So where did the $50,000 limit come for acquiring?
It's just something we put in, you change it to say we don't want to spend all the money on one thing and not have the money to sell the house.
Okay.
There's different things in there, so it's trimming.
Now, as I understand, that was something voters chose. They chose to put tax money towards open space and conservation. Now, you putting a $50,000 limit on that, I feel like you're usurping the power of the voters.
It tracks with the statute. The statute, the apportionment that's being proposed is set forth in the statute that allows to each of them farming. This is simply a housekeeping, a clarification of the allocation within that zone. So, okay, the items set forth in the proposed ordinance are taken directly from the statute, which requires public hearing, which will occur in September. So the statute allows for these categories. And it is the discretion of the elected
Mr.
governing body. This is the discretion of the governing body to choose those parameters.
Well, $50,000 to acquire lands for conservation. I mean, acquiring lands for $50,000 is unreasonable. I mean, if you put that kind of limit on farmland preservation, no farm would ever be preserved.
This on how long is completely diminished to us?
Yeah, I think it was. I mean, it was up as long.
Yeah, that wasn't a purchase. That wasn't taxpayers purchasing the money. And there are
property on 40 and maybe they talk about. We expect $15,000 to get.
Right. Well, to facilitate the acquisition of that. Absolutely. Which is appreciated.
Yeah, the vast majority of our transactions involve partnerships with other funding sources.
Okay. It would have been nice if you guys had the courage to at least deny the bid packet for Piney Hollow instead of just doing a no vote. I felt like you could have just voted no.
Stupid.
So it's taken me probably thousands of hours of advocating for the environment in Franklin Township to learn that the environment doesn't count for much in this town. Basically, if you're a friend of the environment in Franklin Township, you're an enemy of the people. And I feel like in that regard, you all represent the constituents very well because you feel the way the people feel. But I feel like limiting $50,000 to conservation limits what the people might feel in the future. So I urge you to reconsider those limits. And I guess I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Good evening again. Barbara Halpern. It's about the Open Space Trust Fund ordinance. There are several issues with this proposed ordinance. First, the statute gives you the power to assign percentages or amounts of the annual levy for each of the uses approved by voter referendum, which are open space land and farmland acquisition and debt from such acquisitions. No other uses were approved by referendum. The statute is clear that the only way to change, to add or delete uses, or to change the amount of money that voters will pay in their taxes to the fund is by referendum, not by ordinance. I've read this multiple times, and it's really clear you cannot change it by ordinance. So you need a voter referendum to expand what you can pay for out of this fund. Your ordinance amounts add up to more than the yearly levy, which is not at all what the ordinance allowed by statute requires. It is regarding the yearly levy and not yearly spending. Your math equals more than $125,000 between the uses, even without farmland preservation. That's what you get every year, $125,000. You cannot give farmland preservation unlimited, as you have to designate an amount or percentage of the yearly levy of the $125,000. Each proposed spending must be judged on its merits and not capped by a figure such as $250,000 a year. The state says you can open separate accounts for each use, inferring the purpose would then be to bank each year's excess for future projects of the purpose stated for that account. The statute does not give you the power to cap the amount of spending per year, and for good reason, because many years there is a balance left from prior years, and it is within the power of the Township Committee to decide by ordinance when and how much they wish to spend on a particular project. I suggest that you reread the statute, because it's very clear that this ordinance that you're proposing is totally out of line and does not follow the ordinance at all on more than one point. Thank you.
Yes. Right.
Hey, Marshall, 67 New Road, Malaga. As you remember back, I think it was the March Zoning Board meeting, you probably had heard from them, and you know you got pictures from a lot of the residents. I wasn't the only one that issued the flooding pictures. There were multiple residents came forward at that meeting, spoke their piece, it's on record, gave you the pictures. It's a bad issue that's occurring in our area that has gotten progressively worse with each expansion, but since this bank and they took those trees out, it's gotten horrendous. Horrendous. So it falls on your shoulders now as it destroys the woods behind us and everybody's basement. I brought it up, I've explained it to you, I gave you proof and you denied it. It's on you now.
This picture she said, I was up to my knees in water that day and I still went out there and looked at myself. Mr. Filling's right. There was one picture next to me field back. Most of the pictures were in the field across the street, and you were blaming this not on Newfield Bank in that email that you sent to all of us. You were blaming it on one-off in Dollar General, which makes no sense whatsoever because there's a giant berm in the center of the road which will prevent water from going into that field. And it's like 3/4 of a mile away from Newfield Bank.
All right, well, let me reiterate. Maybe I should resend that and I'll spend some time with you and go over it word for word because you're missing up almost every point of that email. It explained that there's been consistent, exponentially increase in flooding, and it explained about how
that was the most rain we had received in 14 years in a period of 24 hours.
Actually, it's not, because I also sent that in a follow-up email to Mr. Finley and showed documented cases where we had 4 storms before then. Well, yeah, either way, it's nice to prove you wrong over and over again. We're going to skip to that point at the moment, B&J ignored it. Like I said, you got 16 residents that are going to be breathing down your neck over this. And I was trying to stop it, and you ignored it. And we just proved it again. Why? Ignorance. The stone mulch, we've talked about that repeatedly.
Correct you. I responded to your email and I drove out to those pictures that you took. So that's actually the opposite of ignorance. So my due diligence.
Well, you actually didn't respond to me.
I didn't respond to you because I realized that your whole email was a farce.
So you just said you responded to me. How?
I responded to your email by driving out to the pictures that you had taken.
Well, I'm not omniscient, so I wouldn't know that. That's not a response to the email. Maybe some email etiquette needs to come forward also. I sent one of those to you too on how that state has classes on it.
Continue on. That was the very first thing that you sent was about etiquette, which is a great way to start off a relationship with someone. But go ahead, continue on. This.
We'll take the higher road here, and I'll let you just keep mouthing off. The stone mulch at the dollar stores, I brought that up multiple times. I have dates. January 1st, February 13th, March 12th. Every time I was told that CMA is on their punch list. I haven't heard a thing back. Now they put more mulch on top of the mulch. They basically buried the weeds with mulch at the dollar stores again. So not only did they do it illegal the first time, they've done it repeatedly since then. So what's going on with that?
Porchtown Road?
No, this is the one right near me at this point. They just remulched all the, what should have been stone mulch.
I'll check with them again because they have been out to them and also Porchtown Road. Porchtown Road is still on a temporary CO, so their punch list, it actually was brought up at the meeting where they're the ones actually paying, and 40 is the same company. So that was brought up by CME to them about addressing Porchtown, but I'll ask them about the one near you also.
And I will get a follow-up from this one, from somebody, on what's going on. Because, I mean, we're to get to the point where we're over years for some of this, and this has been over a year now. And I'm just wondering what's going on. It means they've added more mulch to something that shouldn't occur. Obviously, they're not listening to any advisement.
Is that in the original?
Plans, yes. It states stone mulch only. And that was because of your, Dana DeSergio stated this.
Thursday? Back chasing it Thursday. Shouldn't chase out there.
And I don't need the
God, he was in front of the board on the inventory.
Well, he does Porchtown, that's on the Delsey Drive, but I'll call Ed tomorrow. I mean, I have a couple to call Ed tomorrow to find out the snow off and stuff.
Let me know how you make happen.
Yes, sir.
Malaga Park was brought up earlier, and I have a couple things that I found. Back in May 9th, 2023, there was Resolution 106, 2023, that there was a $78,000 grant that was supposed to be used for the hockey rink in Malaga Park. Whatever happened for that? Because they said nothing's been done. Okay, because I know that people are complaining nothing's been done to the hockey rink. So.
Grant over that.
Okay, just curious.
Or to like
the September 7th EDC meeting, the liaison there had called the rec committee liaison that sits on this council, and it sounds like the parts were ordered to fix the park, but they were on back order. What's going on with that?
They notified us that they no longer have them and can't get them, so the back order turned into they don't have them.
Okay, so that
needs to be a good people.
Okay, so it's basically you're back to investigating parts again for slides and the equipment.
You weren't just into deconstruction and reconstruction mode. So you already have estimates and about company amounts.
All right, June 13th, 2023 Township Committee meeting, a resident employee of the library came up and asked about the HVAC system at the community center.
Yes.
You had mentioned that there were multiple estimates all in excess of $250,000, but the whole system needs to be redone and it was in process. But that was back over a year ago, and then I see the CME was just given $50,000 to...
We'd have to do the specs. So many pages, like 500. Oh, it's like 500 more each.
The whole system has to be replaced.
I understand that.
That's what's name. That was today, so now we can go out to bid finally because we have the entire system engineered and ready to go.
But what I don't understand is why aren't we using the energy companies to do it for free? They do all the same thing the CME just did for $0 to a taxpayer. Legacy Electric does it. South Jersey Gas does it.
This is, we're playing like this is.
Oh, I know, but they'll come out and do a building evaluation and give you an estimate.
Evaluation on how much you're losing or whatever. None of these work. Like their own form of part, we're spending $500 to $1,000 a month for
repairs.
It's just, we got 20 some years out of it.
No, I have no problem with that. I'm having trouble with them.
And I had talked to somebody about the energy audits, but they said that they're not coming out to look at a 20-year system. The best thing to do is get a bid spec and replace.
Right.
Those things that are coming out for like lighting and stuff like that.
But what I'm saying is if you use an HVAC company to do the estimate for you, and you give you the bid, if they don't do it, they're responsible for it. It didn't cost us $50,000. I'm looking at just frugal spending is where why are we paying CME $50,000 when other companies will do it for...
Because by public contract law, we have to have the bid specs for something of that magnitude to be put out. So we have an engineer who's on staff. That's part of their job to do the bid spec package. And then we can put it out for bids to the HVAC companies. We can't put it out to the HVAC companies to tell us what we need. It has to be done by contract law. So that's why
everybody's bidding to save the that hard.
Right.
I understand. It just seems like an exuberant amount for CME to be spending on a system that... Yeah, it just seems outrageous.
Thank you.
The country, the earth.
Good evening, gentlemen. And Robert, Harding Highway. I'm new to this party, so I'd like to see if we might be able to get some clarification on the tree ordinance. Yeah.
Well, what?
Clarification on the tree ordinance that you guys passed a couple weeks ago? What, can you explain it to me?
Matt, what do you guys like?
It's into the speaker, please. This mic thing doesn't work. We can't hear you.
Well, record, we were amazed at Penny said.
Yeah, the DEP mandated, based on stormwater management principles, that every municipality in the state enact they tree protection ordinance, as they refer to it. It took almost 2 years for the terms to be hammered out through significant opposition from many towns. This is one of many from Trenton ordinances that have been enacted in the last 3 years that are of general application to every municipality and that don't take into account the wide difference in New Jersey between towns, whether it be size, rural versus urban, anything. So this was an ordinance, again, that was required to be enacted, that the governing body had to vote on it, but there was significant, we had many discussions with the state. We were at the near or at the deadline to enact about repercussions that would occur if we would not pass it. In essence, it would revoke our stormwater permit. So that's the history of how it came to be. It was originally supposed to be locally adopted in the 2023 calendar year, got pushed to this year, and it's now mandatory on all municipalities.
So with that being said, who determines whether it's a hazard tree, a tree that needs to be removed?
It has to be an arborist. That's what's in the ordinance. That's what the state said. You have to have a certified arborist. If you're saying it's a hazardous tree or a dangerous tree, an arborist has to give you the evaluation, and then you would be exempt from the ordinance's parameters.
Fees?
You're exempt from the fees if if it falls under one of the exemptions. If it's just a regular tree you're taking down, you are supposed to apply for a permit, and we will follow through with the way the ordinance carries.
And you also have to pay for tree being planted.
Or you have to replant the trees yourself from the list.
It's not
correct.
So that means you got to pay for the application to get the tree cut down. And then you have
to go buy the other trees to replace it based on its size.
Who paid up that?
Correct.
The New Jersey or the state, and the New Jersey elections have consequences. Remember that. We did some consequences. Remember that.
We do. Get rid of that. That was strictly the draft from them. We inserted our information. Mr. Lyons and I spent many meetings trying to get the DEP based on our circumstances here with wells and septics. Mr. Fiorella and some of the other committee people all had multiple questions. We were almost 2 months late for the final deadline to approve ours, and all we got was pass the ordinance. Your questions are irrelevant.
Good.
Now, who hires the arborist? The consumer or the township?
Consumer.
And then my next question is, I think I don't know if I'm accurate or not on this, it says you can only cut 4 trees a year on a 1 acre property.
Out of 5-year bank. I mean, we didn't act on that. No, I'm sorry. I'd have to review it and have a separate conversation with it as far as the exact parameters. But there were limits. There were limits outside of right to farm and whatnot, other exemptions.
No, we're talking about residents.
Where that's what we're saying. Yeah, there are other exemptions. I mean, I have to look. Even if there's like, give me your phone.
It's only street trees, correct?
No.
I almost street trees.
Absolute debacle. Everybody said street trees and stood in.
Didn't it start as almost 300?
So that's what we assumed it was. 520. So should have passed it then. We should let into it to just the same effect. The forest, east out of that, and made us wait stop calling to ordering, should have it need to look at the answer sour that. So the I don't know the less of it because look I probably leave you my cell phone to Keisha call if it was.
So in other words, if it's a hazard tree,
Get has a
so if it's a hazard tree, then
you're okay.
If it's a hazard tree and you bring in the certification, it makes the removal of that tree exempt from
Death tree.
dead or dangerous or design tree. Right. If that's that standard, that the replacement costs are yes, you're exempt from that replacement. You're allowed
replacement cost or cost from getting an application, but the resident still has to come to the town.
They would have to show us the documentation.
yes, you still have to come to
If they have to get past that, but they can do it. If they call in, they can send it in via an email. If they have an arborist saying this tree on the property is no good and there's a picture included, then that would be noted on that property that was there and saved, and that would exempt them from the application and all that was deemed a hazard and dangerous tree.
And who's enforcing all this?
We have our code enforcement guys, housing, police department. If they see people out and about doing stuff with the trees, other citizens can bring people in.
They don't have enough to do.
We are tree policeman.
No, we raise those issues. We raise the enforcement issues in a town of this size with the resources that we have.
Hey, do we realize how many tree guys are in this town?
You guys all we up and this is
Some legal, some illegal.
But it's going to be every town in New Jersey is that way.
spring to work in November.
Good luck. You got a lot of work.
Jerry Ludwig was Aaron. Speak Kenny.
Carolyn Talbot. I live on Judy Avenue, and Robert is way too modest. He is forest tree surgeon. He is an arborist and a utility specialist. So he is the best in the business, and I have worked with him for 15, 20 years. And when I first found this business, I had a tree that broke in a storm and was laying on the wires, and nobody was a grown-up. Not the town, not the electric company, not Comcast, not Verizon. They were all babies. So I was the grown-up and found Forestry Service, and I've used them ever since. And not only did I have that tree taken down that was on the wires, but I had 3 others that were in danger of that. I had them take them down too. So I can tell you, I live on a very wooded property, and it's a double lot, it's a big property. So if I have a tree that's sick or dying, I'm going to call Robert at Forestry Service. And I'm not going to pay anything to y'all. I am going to pay
To me anyway.
yeah, I'm not paying anything to the township to take down my trees. And guess what? I have no room on the property to plant anymore. I just want flowers.
Covered that.
And Maddie knows me from the children's garden at the library. I am the lady that has made this garden restored for the children in this township. One last thing. I am thrilled beyond belief that you might restore the children's playground at Malaga Lake, because I have talked with Mr. Finley about that. So anything for the kids. Thank you.
And here. What's your kind of commercial?
Listen,
Did you give her a check for?
he charges big bucks, and he's a wealthy man, and I'm a poor retired school teacher. He is a surgeon.
He surgically writes that bill.
You got that right. but he's worth it, and you've got to have it properly done. You just have to have things properly done.
This information probably to take out from the streets after you're going to tell that with what good is.
Should I say that roughness? Should I say, hey, can we make some money by selling commercial truck? I'm like,
Frank Paulson, Birch Avenue.
Come.
That's right.
I use his brother. I need his brother.
I'm better looking than him, though.
Up 2 hours down to me.
I know. See how it goes? Anyway, with this tree ordinance stuff, who's going to be responsible if there's you send somebody out and they said there's nothing? Yeah, exactly.
That's he'll be responsible.
There's nothing wrong with that tree. Tree falls down and crushes a person's house. Now you didn't let them take the tree down.
No, it's nothing. That's
yeah. Who's responsible for it though? Who's liable if you send somebody out and says, listen, I'm not.
Someone wants to take a tree out and take a tree out. I just got to pay. They got to pay for it.
Yeah, but they got
or they put money into a fund, and we could put one somewhere else.
So my understanding then is, if there's an emergency that comes out, what about emergencies? Are we allowed to take care of emergencies? And I know we are. We're going to do it anyway. I'm not going to stop anybody from doing it. Tree falls in your house, Mike's house, we'll just let it go.
So that's where I just said that's the hazard for dangerous tree. So the suggestion I would make is that in that kind of a situation, you're called out, Mr. Forrest is called out, and the tree's half snapped, laying on wires, laying on a house. Just snap a picture of it. So
is that up to us or the homeowner?
Either or.
Somebody's got to do it, though, right? So if I snap a picture of every tree we cut down for storms, like this windstorm that came through Friday, all these tree guys are sitting back here, all out busy cutting trees. We don't have time to call in and say,
I will send an email tomorrow to the DEP that this was brought up tonight since they didn't want to talk about the tree ordinance.
I just screamed, dude. This is the biggest forest since we've been in. I've been in business 46 years and never seen nothing like this a day in my life.
Question to them and ask in a situation like with the wind event where there were trees down, what does that constitute?
Yeah.
And see if they answer me back. I know that they will, but
and everybody sitting here is not going to wait for a phone call back from them. If you got a tree, it's down. You want a tree guy to come out. You want him to come out that night.
Frank, I think you're answering your own question.
Yeah.
Trees down already.
Right.
Bring it down.
Yeah. Well, hazardous trees, we don't need permits for dead hazardous trees.
There you go.
Right? I got my wife screaming at me because that 5-acre lot that I bought on Birch Avenue is loaded with dead pine trees, and she says, "Don't cut any more of them down." I'm going, "They're dead. There's the falling down."
Your reasons.
Yeah. So, thanks. Answer some questions. Still don't like it though.
We didn't either. I don't. It's a large thing. Oh, sorry, Bob. I can't get it. You can't. Something right now. We'll talk to you. She's already on the ton kids. You be what do you want to have? You have the scars somewhere. They talk to you for the Russians. Give someone else a beer. Give someone a win. We try to go sing it. But now, firstly, I'm trying to get it. Turns up our next week. It's someone get them on the compliment. On your list, and I a motion to close the second part for you. Motion to close. Second. All in favor?
I said so.
Does that mean listen? Anybody reports? Marcy, we can hear bombs about all anybody else. All right, nothing. Mr. Mark.
The library's hiring you at first and what they're in, but they're all trying to tweaks all the way to the.
Did you play?
On you day, we're salvaging now, so on being rough. But put you formally what my yelling and our ladies and all that shit to
very good.
they'll know it's right you take some credit. Drop about the entertainment best it's about to say in the front building and the third call.
So we do too. So yeah, it's over. It's like that. And next week, I need just and the motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn. Please. Second, all in favor?
Aye.